but everything, all the laws and statutes that you guys go by are legal. For corporations. They're for
still a crime. Still a crime.
But I'm not a corporation. I'm a living person.
Yep, and that's why you're standing in front of me. If you were dead, the case would be dismissed. Yes.
Yeah, right, and I can't face that accuser because that business can't get on the stand for me to ask questions, and a third party.
But their representative can. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So I have 189,000 of student loan debt that was forgiven to be a lawyer. You do not. And Mr.
Someone's bringing a claim against me, and my only question is, are we dealing in a commercial or a common law, also known as a record of law?
Three will be separate in-person bench trial in courtroom number 1.
Objection. I will not be showing up. Objection. I will not be showing up. You refuse to answer the question of jurisdiction. You're trying to get me into the courtroom so you can take me against my will and lock me up in a cage like an animal. Objection. You do not have jurisdiction over me. You do not have judicial authority in North America. You are working for a municipality called the state of Michigan. You have no jurisdiction. You are an attorney. You work for a corporation. You are in a municipal capacity. You have no authority. You call yourself government. Your position is a public servant. I am the objection.
Miss Seeley. Up, we have a new face on this channel with Judge Anzalone. And let's just say she's not playing any of these little sovereign games. Not one bit. Her SovCit defendant has allegedly embezzled thousands of dollars from his former employer, but he's convinced the company can't be considered a plaintiff or victim because, in his words, a corporation can't take the stand as a witness. Clearly, this guy is a bit fuzzy on how the law defines victims and plaintiffs, but lucky for us and his former employer, Judge Anzalone, is here to set him straight. Then, in our second case, we've got a female defendant who is rude, a SovCidiot, and a Karen. That's a trifecta of trouble for Judge Martin. Will she be able to tolerate all of the obnoxious rants and outbursts from this unhinged SovCit Karen? Or will she have to issue a contempt charge just to restore order in her court?
I tried to.
Nope, yeah, stand in front of the thing. So, what is your name?
Brian Joseph Musgrove.
Okay, are you an attorney? What's your P number?
I'm not an attorney.
So then you can't represent Brian Musgrove. So you are a defendant, correct?
I'm an executor on that estate.
Okay, so none of that is valid or legal. So you have an attorney?
He's not doing nothing for me.
Okay, that wasn't my question. Do you have an attorney, yes or no?
I have, yeah, he was supposed to represent me, but.
So you have Michael Dagger-Margosian. Okay, so he's your attorney. Okay, so go have a seat. When Mr. Dagger-Margosian gets here, I'll call your case, okay?
A few moments later.
You might, oh, there he is. So, Mr. Dagger-Margosian, this is a date and time set for pre-trial in this matter. Mr. Musgrove said that he was appearing on his own behalf. I did verify he is not an attorney, and you are still the attorney of record. So, Mr. Dagger-Margosian, how do you wish to proceed?
Well, Your Honor, I am aware that Mr. Musgrove wants to present information to the court. I'm happy to be standby counsel if he wants to represent himself. Obviously, this court would have to go through the colloquy of that, but obviously it's Mr. Musgrove's legal right to at least ask the court to do that. So I'm here to observe at this point.
All right. So, Mr. Musgrove, when you were at the bench or up at the podium before, you said that you're standing in my courtroom. I have jurisdiction over you. So,
I tried to file paperwork with the clerk's office ahead of time so that you would have time to review it, and they denied me.
I know what you're talking about. None of that is valid under the law of the state of Michigan or the Constitution of the United States of America.
What do you mean it is?
No.
The Supreme Court says it is.
What does it say it is?
The Supreme Court says that if we were at the age of 18, we were supposed to claim our minor status.
Nope, not valid.
We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened.
Okay.
So here's what I would say to you. Mr. Dagger Markosian is, like most of our public defenders, exceptional attorneys and very well versed in the law and very experienced. He gives legal advice. You may not like the legal advice, but it's usually good advice. I've never had anyone from the public defender. We have budgets. The court system is not a profit generating revenue. We are here to represent people so that people who are charged with crimes are protected, people who are victims of crimes are protected, and that's why we have all
But in order
these.
for there to be a crime, there has to be a victim. There is no.
Well, there is a victim in this case
The victim
because
would be the company. and the
you are
company-
charged.
I can't face. the
Actually,
company.
just hold on. So your crime that you are charged with, which you are innocent as of this time, let me grab the right file, is failure. Oh, this is let me see. This is an embezzlement charge. So you are charged in count one with embezzlement 50,000 or more, but less than 100,000. That being an agent, servant, or employee of Hardwoods of Michigan Industries did convert to your own use without the consent of your employer or principal industrial tools and equipment in the amount of $68,938.40 or money or equipment. And that's a 15-year felony. So if you are found guilty by a jury, you can go to prison for up to 15 years. So you potentially could be looking at up to 25 years in prison. So the victim that's alleged in this would be that business.
Right, and I can't face that accuser because that business can't get on the stand for me to ask questions. And a third party.
But their
can't stand
representative
it.
can. Yes, they can. Yes,
They
they
can?
can. Yes, they
Okay.
can. So I have 189,000 of student loan debt that was forgiven to be a lawyer. You do not. And Mr. Dagger Margosian, Mr. Isaac Sneed, all of the attorneys here went to law school to know the law, and their job is to advise you of the law. So
Yeah,
yes, they
they're-
can. Yes,
They're
you
going
can
by
be charged.
everything, all the
can't-
laws and statutes that you guys go by
Are
are for
legal.
corporations. They're for fictitious.
Still a crime. Still a crime.
But I'm not a
Still a
fictitious
crime.
corporation, I'm a living person.
Yep, and that's why you're
Okay.
standing in front of me. If you were dead, the case would be dismissed.
Yeah, the all caps name is that.
That means nothing. That's not valid. It's
Okay.
not legal.
right.
So do you want to represent yourself or do you want to have an attorney to represent you?
I need some time to think.
Okay, so I'm going to set this for another pretrial on March 20th at 8:30 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Before you call the case you think I might be here on, I've had a chance to talk to Miss Seeley. She was in the MIDC waiting room, and I explained the charges to Miss Seeley. However, she would like to know under which jurisdiction I operate. I've explained that I'm a criminal defense attorney, and I don't operate under any jurisdiction, so I don't think she's seeking the services of an attorney at this time, and the court may like to speak with her.
A, B, and C. These are Huron Township versus Bonita Seeley. Ms. Seeley, were you able to hear the charges now?
First of all, are we on the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are we under penalty and perjury?
Are we on what, ma'am?
Under penalty and perjury, if you're willing to swear in.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I can
Everybody-
barely hear you.
I said, is everybody willing to swear in under penalty and perjury?
Ma'am, we're not taking testimony as of yet. Today is the day and time scheduled for the pre-hearing and adjourned arraignment pretrial in these matters.
It still has to be placed on a record. He still has to be put under penalty and perjury because he's swearing to an alleged
Ma'am.
crime against me and holding me accountable. So even though this is just a hearing, it still has to be put on notice for the public as well.
Ma'am, today is the day and time scheduled for the pre-hearing and the arraignment pretrial. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Bonita Seeley.
Ms. Seeley, Mr. Batar is the court-appointed attorney assigned to this courtroom for the day. He's indicated that you don't wish to engage his services. Is that correct?
No, let me explain my position. I asked him a simple question about jurisdiction. That's why this hearing has been adjourned for today, because the last hearing, none of the attorneys could answer the question in regards to what jurisdiction that we're operating under. So they want to proceed without addressing the jurisdiction, which is a violation of due process. So in order for him to represent me on any public record, I have to understand what jurisdiction he's operating on.
Ms. Seeley, if you do not wish to use the court-appointed attorney, and you confirm as much to the court right now, Mr. Bitar can go back, ma'am, Mr. Bitar can go back and do other things that he needs to do this morning. Do you wish to use Mr. Bitar's services, or do you wish to represent yourself this morning, or do you wish to retain counsel through some other mechanism?
Under what charge, under which jurisdiction, and then who's bringing the charges against me?
Ma'am, there were citations issued against you in Huron Township for limited access speeding 11 to 15 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. That's a civil infraction. There's count 2, no proof of insurance. And there is the misdemeanor of driving while license not valid or improper license. Do you wish to use the services of the MIDC attorney, or do you wish to represent yourself this morning, or do you wish to retain counsel?
Who are the parties bringing this claim against me? It's a simple question.
I answered your question, ma'am. I answered your question, ma'am. I answered your question, ma'am.
And could you re-answer it, because I didn't hear it? Who's bringing the charges against me?
The citation that was issued to you was issued by an officer from Huron Township, Freddie Yono. It's the citation that was issued, is signed.
So it's Freddie.
It has his name and his ID number. Ma'am, my question to you is, do you wish to engage the services of the court-appointed attorney, or may I release him to go back to do some other work?
Wait a minute, I have questions before I can answer on. You're trying to get me to...
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yes, it's a,
no,
it's
ma'am.
a due process violation. Objection. Yes.
Miss Seeley, this is the third and last time I'm asking you. Will you be using Mr. Bitar to represent you this morning, or do you wish to retain your private attorney, or do you wish to represent yourself?
I need to understand what jurisdiction we're under.
Mr. Bitar, you may return to your breakout rooms to meet with other potential clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I
Ms.
may.
Seeley, do you intend to represent? I'm sorry, Ms. Foley Carter.
I just want we started this case back in July. Ms. Seeley attended her first pretrial. She demanded that the case be dismissed. I declined. I asked that the case be set for a bench trial. Ms. Seeley objected, and Magistrate Hinman advised her to file a motion stating her objection. Since then, she asked Judge Green for her oath of office, and then didn't appear for the court dates before Judge Oakley. So this case has been going on for quite some time with no resolution.
Because I'm asking a question and it requires a rebuttal when it's being ignored. You cannot violate the due process. This is a hearing, and any question that I have needs to be answered. You don't get to sit in the capacity of government and ignore the questions that the people have. Someone's bringing a claim against me, and my only question is, are we dealing in a commercial or a common law, also known as a record of law, court? That's simple. So are we in a common law court, yes or no?
Common law traditionally refers to case law or judicially created law based on precedents. Sovereign citizens often refer to common law as an older form of the people's law based on natural rights, and they shouldn't be held accountable for statutory laws, which are laws created by state legislatures. This misunderstanding makes them claim that only a common law court has legitimate authority over them, ignoring the fact that modern U.S. courts operate under a mix of statutory and common law.
Are we in a common law court, yes or no?
Marianne, a trial, in-person bench trial date in this matter, please.
Objection. Objection. Are we in a common law court, yes or no?
January 23rd.
Case dismissed.
At 11 o'clock.
Case dismissed. Case dismissed because you refuse to rebuttal to the question regarding jurisdiction. You cannot proceed without honoring the jurisdiction. You cannot be in the
Ms. Seeley.
capacity of a, yes.
The misdemeanor matter and the 2 civil infractions that are traveling with it that were issued on April 26, 2023 will be set for an in-person bench trial in courtroom number 1.
Objection, I will not be showing up. Objection, I will not be showing up. You refuse to answer the question of jurisdiction. You're trying to get me into the courtroom so you can take me against my will and lock me up in a cage like an animal. Objection, you do not have jurisdiction over me. You do not have judicial authority in North America. You are working for a municipality called the state of Michigan. You have no jurisdiction. You are an attorney. You work for a corporation. You are in a municipal capacity. You have no authority. You call yourself government. Your position is a public servant.
Miss
I am the objection.
Miss Seeley,
no, you cannot proceed as an attorney. Objection. I will not be showing up in court. I will appeal this matter. Objection.
There's no question pending to you, ma'am. This court will be muting you at this time because this court, the court has muted Ms. Seeley as her responses are not responsive to the matter that is before the court. This matter is being scheduled for trial. If Ms. Seeley wishes to absent herself from that trial, that is her absolute right. That trial date is January 23rd
I will not be showing up.
All comments, viewpoints, interpretations, and insights expressed in this video are for education and entertainment purposes. All individuals featured in the video are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Please do not attempt to contact, locate, or engage with any individuals featured in the video.